Hello, hello. Doop-a-doo, ba-doop-a-doo. Okay. Starting. Okay. Hey guys, how are you? Hello, hello. Just getting adjusted here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in New Jersey and it is so freaking humid. I just wanted to say that I'm just a wilting flower a bit. Thank goodness for air conditioning and fans. So, guys, today I'm going to be talking about 3 reasons why finding funny in your life makes you a better mom, a better partner, and a better businesswoman. So, if you're asking yourself the question, I'd kind of like to learn how to be more funny, but what's in it for me besides being funny and, popular with your friends? It's that it actually can improve how you react to things, how you see your life, and it really makes you a better mom. And I am not a perfect mom. I have 3 teenagers or young adults in my house right now who will attest to the fact that I'm not a perfect mom, but I don't let perfection get in the way of my progress. So I've gotten better. So this will help you get better. It's always about becoming a little better versus sitting on your laurels. So anyway, so if you're interested in how you can, be a better mom, be a better parent, be more patient, be more being able to roll with it, being a better business person, which is another huge self-development journey I've discovered, then adding humor and seeing the funny in your life can be really life-changing. So I'm going to be talking about 3 reasons why this is true. The first reason is that seeing humor makes you the present observer of your life. So, one of the first things that I learned when I started getting into mindfulness and meditation and things of that nature is learning how to observe your life versus just getting trapped in life. So, in other words, getting out of seeing the forest for the trees, not getting too immersed in something where you don't see the bigger picture. And being able to observe what's going on can be a huge change in your perspective of life. It helps you see things more clearly. It helps you see different angles about things. It helps you to take a step back and pause. So, when you take a step back and just notice what's happening, aka sensations of feeling anxious instead of just saying, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious. Um, you're noticing your heartbeat. You're noticing your breath is different. Um, Knowing that you're not your emotions. You don't have to be overtaken by them, that you can observe your emotions. This is one of the things that mindfulness does for you, but it's also something that laughter and finding humor and finding the funny and ridiculous and observe does for you. It helps you take a step back um, and look at your life from a distance a little bit. And when you can learn to do that, to observe your life and that you're kind of one of the characters in your life, um, it changes the way you deal with things. In fact, in comedy itself, there's a whole genre of comedy called observational comedy, which is, the work of Jerry Seinfeld. What he's dedicated himself to is looking at society and joking about it himself and society in general. So it's something that unites us as humanity. Audiences love it because they see themselves in it as well, or other people in their life. It releases tension. It makes us look at our own foibles and our idiosyncrasies, our own imperfection. And it says, even though you're not perfect and you have these weird things that you do, you're lovable. You could become lovable to yourself. And, an example of that is the iconic routine of George Carlin. I'm not going to go into the 7 words that you can't see on television, but there is a whole bit he does about driving. And his whole thing is, have you ever noticed that everyone who is faster than you on the road is a maniac, and everyone who's slower than you on the road is an idiot, right? And we've all done that. What is this maniac doing? He's going too fast. And look at this idiot. He's not going fast enough. So just observing what we do, how we react to others in this scenario of like the maniacs and the idiots, it makes everyone laugh and release and goes, yeah, I do that. Yep, there's a little bit of me in there, and now I can laugh at myself. And when you can laugh at yourself, you become more lovable to yourself, you become more compassionate to yourself. So that's reason number 1. How this makes you a better parent is because it reminds you that you are not perfect. Not everything is life or death. You can deal with it. You're going to be more patient and more present and more of an observer in your life. And when you are like that as a parent, man, you make better decisions. Man, you can catch yourself in the moment without doing something that maybe you'll regret later. Man, you can kind of see the humanity in both you and your kids. Okay, reason number 2, why finding the funny can make you a better mom, partner, and businesswoman is that when you find the funny, absurd, ridiculous, it calms your body and your mind so you can navigate through challenges with more resilience, groundedness, and solution orientation. So this is what I'm going to break this down. When you are able to laugh at things and finding the absurd, ridiculous, you roll with things instead of being destroyed by them. You stop, once again, you stop taking things so personally, right? Or seeing it as a punishment or a confirmation of how hard life is or how flawed you are. You get out of that part of your brain, which is very judgmental, or in panic mode, where you are in the fight, flight, or freeze part of your brain. As we all know, when you're in that part, you're trying to survive and you're not necessarily solution oriented. So here's an example. You're in a hurry in the grocery store. We've all been there. You're like, I got 10 minutes before my next appointment. I'm just going to run in there and get what I need. And guess what? You go to the produce aisle and you grab your container of blueberries. And everyone has done this sometime in their life. What you don't know about the blueberries is that a lot of times they're not sealed properly. You're in a hurry, you grab them, and all of a sudden the container opens up and the blueberries are everywhere. Oh, that is a moment where a lot of people get really pissed off, right? It's like, no, this is the opposite of what I want. I want to get in and out of here fast. All of a sudden, I got blueberries everywhere. So maybe you feel embarrassed, maybe you feel pissed off or frustrated or irritated or shamed. You feel ashamed that you did that. So your mind can go into that part of your brain where you see this as a punishment, or you're anxious, or you're embarrassed. Or when you can see the funny in this, can you see the ridiculousness of life, the whole man plans, God laughs scenario? I say that to myself all the time. Then you see it as an opportunity to like laugh, giggle, pause, take a breath, slow down, and realize, man, sometimes I can be the worst enemy for myself when I'm rushing. And when I rush, I do stuff like this. And you realize it's okay. I'm still lovable. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It just means I need to slow down, release the tension through laughing or sometimes crying. And then afterwards, for me, the golden moment is like, this is going to be a good story later on in the day. So I go tell a friend what I did. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, the blueberries, the escape of the blueberries, they're all over the place. And, I was hungry, so I just grabbed a few of them through my mouth. No one's noticing. May as well get a little deal there. And you can make it a funny story about, oops, there it is, instead of a reason to beat yourself up. And this is great for parenting because when you see that, then you're able to have a template for your kids. Shit's going to happen. You're going to spill the blueberries. What do you want to learn from it? That you're a terrible person, or that you can clean up aisle 4. People can help you. You get to clean it up. You get to learn to slow down. Okay. So, reason number 3, that humor and finding the funny makes you a better mother and a better businesswoman. Because the third reason is laughing and seeing the magical, funny, and unpredictability of life can bring more meaning and depth, because you're not treating every moment as life or death, or wrong and right, or victory or failure, but rather moments become compassionate lessons, expansion, loving yourself as imperfect and zany, and that this is why you're here, to find meaning in your life and expand your perspective. It's not about just beating yourself up. Okay, so here's an example of that. You're driving with your family on vacation and you get a flat tire on 95. 95 is a huge road where I live on the East Coast. It goes from Maine to Florida, and it's always busy and it's full of trucks. All right, you get a flat tire. Oh no. You can tell yourself something like, oh, something always goes wrong on vacation, or you should have double checked your tire pressure, or you can say, well, kids, this is the part of a vacation where you learn how to change a tire. Yay. In other words, you can take something that goes wrong, kind of like the blueberries, and turn it into something that's going to be a family moment, because your kids are watching you. They don't always they don't always pay attention to what you say, but they pay attention to what you do and your attitudes and feelings about it. So if you're rolling with it, if you're making the best out of a sucky situation, if you're navigating through things, they notice that. And then they get to do that. They get to face things in a different way, maybe with a little more confidence, or a little more groundedness, or things are fixable. This is fixable. We can do something about it. And you get to spend time with them in that moment and show them how to do that. Maybe it's just making fun of yourself, like, oh, this is freaking me out, but I'm going to make fun of myself. Even that can help, because it's showing how you can have a humorous perspective with yourself. So just let me know. I've said a lot of stuff. Which of these reasons meant the most for you? Was it about being the observer in your life? Was it seeing the magic in life? Was it being able to roll with it? What was the reason that you feel like, yeah, I think laughing at things more and finding the funny? I'm sorry, I have hair in my face. All right. Which one meant the most to you? And is this something that you feel like you'd like to develop in yourself? Because it's totally developable. Developable? Yes, you can develop it. And if you're interested in that, if you're interested in having a more of a conversation or doing more exploration around how to find the funny in your life, you have a huge opportunity on July 1st. I'm doing another class series called One Funny Mother, Stand-Up Comedy for Moms. Like I said, starts July 1st, and it's a 6-week course where you not only learn how to find the funny in your everyday life, but I literally teach you how to create a 5-minute comedy set. So it could be a funny story or a series of stories. It could just be jokes, whatever it is about your life, what makes it hilarious and absurd, ridiculous and funny. And then in the 7th week, we have a graduation show where you get to show your stuff. You get to literally perform your 5-minute set for your friends and family, whoever you've invited. And it's all done on Zoom, so you don't even have to leave your home. You don't have to tell your friends they have to drink 2 cocktails in order to see you. They're in their home and they get to watch you right on Zoom. It's a really good time. And it's a great way to spend your summer. It's kind of like summer mom camp. It's fun. You become more confident. You become a better speaker. You learn that you can do a lot of things that you didn't know you could do before. You get to see that perspective of your life, and so does your family, so they can enjoy it. And then it becomes something that you share between the two of you, and you keep cultivating. So if you're interested, I'll put the link below. July 1st, as I said. And if you have any questions that you want to ask me about the course or how to bring more fun into your life, please reach out. You can either reach out through the Calm Mom Alliance, or you can reach out through the DMs. Look, being a professional mom can be really hard and it can suck sometimes, but it's also one of the best adventures of your life. And life gets way better when you befriend and believe in yourself. You have a supportive community and you can laugh at what usually drives you crazy because you're worth it. So have a great week, guys. I look forward to seeing you next week. And tomorrow I'm going to be doing another live about what are the zany things that happens in the One Funny Mother class and why it's so transformational. But until then, have a wonderful week, even if it's sweaty and hot like it is here. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.